Hey there, everybody. Jandor here. I wanted to bring you some thoughts, some musings, if you will, on the new patch that just dropped for Diablo 3. This patch is basically Reaper of Souls minus Act 5 and the Crusader, and a couple other little bits of content. But it's a huge sweeping overhaul to the game, so even if you're not planning on dropping $40 right away on the expansion pack, there's still a lot of new stuff they're introducing that's pretty legit. And I wanted to go ahead and talk about all that with you guys since it just came out. What I'm going to do is go through some of the patch notes and then actually bring us in-game and take a look at how that acts in-game and see if we can play around for a little bit and get a couple of these new drops and just sort of see how things shake up. So, first things first. The patch is now live. It just went live the other day. There's a huge list of table of contents here. We're going to start with the general stuff and then go on down the list. So, first, pools of reflection have been added to the game. So each pool of reflection provides a 25% bonus to experience, which persists until you reach a set amount of bonus experience, which is equal to roughly 10%, as it says here, of the current amount of Paragon experience needed to reach the next Paragon level, or your character dies. You can gather additional pools of reflection, which increases the amount of total experience bonus a character can receive until character death, which stacks up to 10 times, or 100% of a level. And the experience bonus persists on logout. This excited me a great deal because it means if you're running around and you have to go for whatever reason, it's making this a little bit more of a jump in and go game than it used to be, where you had to stack up 5 stacks of Nephilim Valor and then try to run with that as long as possible in order to get, some decent drops. This should make this a little more casual in a way that I think is pretty cool, especially if you just get cut short for whatever reason. You can jump right back in and just keep on getting that bonus experience. There's also a new thing called Nephilim Glory, which apparently is power globes that drop when monsters are damaged or killed. They grant a buff, which deals additional damage, and it stacks up to 3 times. We also have new hero statistics, which include toughness, healing, splash damage, cooldown reduction, and resource cost reduction. And they've really done a big, nerf is probably the best way to describe it, to lifesteal. We're at level 60, and note the expansion will increase level cap to 70. So from 60 up to 70 and then into the Paragon. Lifesteal is reduced to 10% effectiveness. My guess is this is a way to try to diversify the items you're using, because everybody would just tend to stack lifesteal at really high levels because it was super efficient, especially compared to the way Life on Hit worked, where it just wasn't anywhere near as much because your DPS could get stacked pretty high, is my understanding. I never really found a lot of lifesteal gear, and I didn't play the auction house game in order to buy a lot of lifesteal gear, so I don't think this is going to affect me much, but it does mean that I'm going to be a little more cautious about whether or not I stack a bunch of lifesteal items or just go with other stuff. So we'll see. But that's kind of interesting. That's going to change up some builds for sure. You can now resurrect in multiple places when you die in normal, so not hardcore games. So you can go your body, the town, or the last checkpoint, which is pretty cool. Gives you a little bit more flexibility about where you pop back in, and will allow you to kind of get back into the action faster, especially if there's not if you die and there's 50,000 monsters right over your corpse, you definitely don't want to respawn right on top of your body. But it may be that the last checkpoint was before a waypoint, so you go back to town, things like that. It just gives you a little bit more flexibility. They've adjusted player hitboxes. I don't really know how much it's going to make a difference, but we'll see. Followers level with characters is nice because it means you don't have to take followers around just to get them up to level 60. For most of us, I don't think that's going to or I guess to 70 now, because with the expansion out, there's another 10 levels, and I'm assuming your followers level up that much too. So this will be nice. It means you don't have to chain followers to get them all to the highest level if you feel like doing that for achievements or whatever purpose. You can no longer trade gold. Interesting. You can now occasionally get item rewards when getting quests when completed during the leveling process. I don't know what that means, but items from quests is pretty cool, so that's always nice. There is no more Nephilim Valor. This means it's the farming mode is no longer jump into an area with the densest amount of elite packs, get to 5 stacks of Nephilim Valor, and run to bosses or other areas with elite packs so that you can get the best item find. You don't have to deal with that. Now it's going to be about finding these pools of reflection. and trying to stack those up so that you're getting experience for Paragon, which I will get to later, because that whole thing's been changed up. And then they've changed up the graphics engine some, which is pretty cool, especially if you're like me and happen to have a video card that is beefy enough to run this stuff at high levels. Bosses. So they've changed up mechanics to multiple bosses. It looks like almost all of them. And then these guys, Magna, Siegebreaker, Asmodean, and Istaku, are all massively changed, which I'll be curious to fight through them again and see what those changes are, because that might make them more interesting. And then we have enrage timers that are only enabled in Torment 1 and above, which the difficulties in this game I'll show you when we get into the game, because it's changed. And now Torment is the highest difficulty. And what's interesting is you can go into any difficulty at any point and level. You don't have to proceed through the game linearly over and over again through each act to get to the higher difficulties. You can just kind of set it and go. Obviously, there's still going to be limits, like you don't want to jump into certain difficulties when you're low level or have bad gear, because you're just going to get slaughtered. But it might give you a little bit more of a challenge, especially if it's, you're leveling alts and you're buying items, or you have items, or you're crafting items for them, so they're already kind of ahead of the power curve, which is pretty neat. Anyway, but this also means these guys aren't going to be as scary in the lower levels. It's just in the highest difficulty, which is Torment. And Torment, which I've seen in game and I'll show you, has a slider of 1 to 10, so it kind of replaces Monster Power. It's like Monster Power 1 to 10, but it's its own difficulty and it has other perks. Classes. Okay, every class seems to have gotten a huge overhaul. I mean, you can just go through this. I'm just scrolling down here, and you can see this is just the Barbarian. So I'm not going through all of this because it's like a lot. And I don't want to bore you guys with that. So what I'm going to do is put the patch notes in the YouTube video down in the comment section below, and you guys can check it out right there and see what's changed with the individual classes. They've also gone ahead and updated the game guide, so if you go onto the game guide online, you should be able to see all the updated tool tips for your classes and so on, and everything ought to be reflected there. Plus it'll be reflected in game. So we're going to jump straight ahead to crafting and artisans and check out what's new there. And there's difficulty, so I can kind of verify what I just said. But crafting. So we've had several quality of life changes here, it looks like. Crafting materials have been condensed into 2 item level tiers, 1 to 60 and 60 to 70, which makes sense. You have, all the stuff that's in vanilla and then the new stuff that's being added with the actual expansion. This reduces the amount of stash space consumed by crafting materials and simply older crafting. Oh, that's nice. All crafting materials currently in character inventories and stash have been converted accordingly. That is also nice. Interesting. I wonder how that's actually going to work out when we go in game. We'll be able to check it out soon. All crafted items will now roll with stats appropriate to the character crafting them using the Loot 2.0 Smart Drop system. Which hopefully they'll describe for us soon. Items designed to roll specific stats such as Archon armor patterns are exempted from that. Okay. And then items purchased from vendors are now flagged as such and cannot be salvaged. I guess I don't know if it's an exploit, but I guess people might then have been buying a lot of items from vendors and just salvaging them to get crafting reagents as a use of gold. I don't know. I don't really think that's a big deal, but whatever. Difficulty. So, Nightmare, Hell, and Inferno modes have been removed. Difficulty is dynamic, and monsters will level up with your characters. There are now 5 difficulty settings to choose from: Normal, Hard, Expert, Master, and Torment 1 through 6. Normal, Hard, and Expert are immediately available. Master unlocks upon completing Act 4. Torment unlocks upon reaching level 60. Torment level also includes a difficulty slider, offering an additional 6 adjustments with increasing rewards and more powerful monsters. And each level offers new bonuses and rewards visible in the difficulty selection menu, which I'll show you when we go in game. And you can now lower your difficulty setting in-game. However, increasing difficulty still requires exiting. Okay. And the option is disabled in hardcore. That makes sense. And then they've adjusted monster density across all acts again. Interesting. Events, cursed objects. Chests and shrines around Sanctuary now have a chance to be cursed, starting an event once they are inspected. Neat. Completing a cursed chest or shrine provides a small golden experience reward, as well as either a radiant chest or a random shrine buff. And these events offer a variety of challenges, including endless monster waves and timed events. Cool. Very cool. That should make running around exploring the world a little more interesting, a little more random variation there. In Infernal Machines, Torment level difficulty is now required to use Infernal Machines, and I honestly never even got there in Inferno, so I'll be excited to check that out once I get back into it. Because this is the thing right here. Itemization, Loot 2.0. This is the big reason why I was holding off playing this game for a while. That and playing other stuff like Dota 2. But they're massively revamping the item system, and let's go through how. So, itemization's undergone a major overhaul. Hooray! Legendary and set items are now bind on account. Players in multiplayer games may trade legendaries and set items they find with others who were present for the drop for up to 2 hours. Interesting. Okay, so that means you're gonna, well, that means if you want to get legendaries and sets, you're gonna have to actually play, or play with groups. But it's not gonna be something where you're gonna be seeing people sitting in the chat menu like want to trade this item, or looking for this item because you can't get it. Interesting. Smart drop system. All items that drop have a chance to roll as smart loot. Smart loot items roll intelligently based on the character being played. So a wizard is more likely to find items with intelligence or wizard skills than a barbarian. Class-specific items will no longer roll stats inappropriate to their class. Oh, so you won't get intelligence on mighty belts and mighty weapons or belts. That's cool. That's really cool. That ought to reduce the useless crap you find. New item affixes, including splash damage, cooldown reduction, resource cost reduction, percent damage to physical damage skills, and specific class skill bonuses. Ooh. Neat. Item properties that have been separated into 2 categories, primary and secondary. So primary stats include strength, dex, int, vitality, critical hit damage, and critical hit chance, attack speed, life per second, armor, percent life, bonus damage. Wow, okay, a lot of stuff there. All resistance sockets. And then their secondary stats are Gold Fine Thorns, bonus experience per monster, chance for fear, stun, blind, freeze, choke, still immobilize, okay. Ignore durability loss, bonus healing from health gloves and potions. Level okay. Which prevents stats that directly and indirectly increase character power from competing with each other. I see. Interesting. Stat ranges on items have been narrowed significantly. So instead of an item having a stat range of 1 to 200, it's now something like 140 to... Oh, thank God. That's awesome. Legendary powers roll in a range instead of static. So the Laws of Seth has a legendary affix. Using Blinding Flash restores 75 to 100 spirit. So, okay. Interesting. And now you can view stat ranges of items by pressing and holding control. Very good. All legendary items have been reworked with one or all of the above points in mind. All legendary items. Ooh, I've got like 3 legendary items on my monk, so we'll be able to check out what's different there. And they'll, oh, okay, will only affect new items that drop. I see. Well, alright, fine. Hopefully we'll find some then. Potions have been condensed into a single type. They provide 60% of your total health when consumed. Huh. Well, that simplifies things a bit, doesn't it? It's not as good, but it's still pretty good. Alright, cool. We've had a bunch of changes to monsters, it looks like. So, monster affixes have been revisited and returned. Arcane Enchanted. So spawn effect shows which direction it will start rotating. Oh, that would be kind of nice. I hate Arcane Enchanted, man. It's the worst. Desecrator damage begins low and quickly ramps up to max. Oh, that'll be nice because it means you might have a better chance of actually getting off the damn thing before you're suddenly, half dead. As long as you're paying attention. Frozen increases the number of crystals spawned. Oh, goody. No longer increases how many crystals are spawned based on number of players. Okay. And it's area effect damage over time as they build it. Oh, wow. Alright, yeah, because here's the thing. With Frozen, this was an interesting affix because it was one of those things where if you had some mobility on your character, it wasn't that complicated. It was just kind of annoying. You had to sort of run away from the area of effect, jump out of it, then go back in and bash the monster. This looks like it makes them a little more dangerous. In that you're going to be taking damage as soon as the crystals drop, and there's more crystals, so it might be a little bit harder to deal with and require more power use in something as opposed to just sort of walking away. Jailer deals a small amount of damage. Ugh. Vortex. Small amount of damage applied. Okay. Yeah, those were kind of more obnoxious than they were threatening. depending on what else was with them, of course. Mortar has an outer impact area that does less damage than the center, and it detonates if they vertically hit a wall. Interesting. Plagued monsters now sometimes drop a pool under players as well as under themselves. Eesh. Reflects damage no longer reflects a portion of incoming damage. It reflects a fixed amount of damage per attack. Okay. Interesting. I wonder what that means. That sounds like to me it means that your DPS doesn't affect how much damage you take from a reflex damage monster anymore. It's just a fixed amount. So every time you hit them with something, boom, you reflect that much, a specific amount of damage. Which is kind of cool because it means if you've got a glass cannon build, it's probably still, super dangerous to deal with reflex damage character, but it's just going to be kind of like if you're dealing 100,000 DPS, it's not going to be like an insane amount of damage back that you have no way of reducing because your outputting damage is going to be way higher than what you can take just because of the way the game works. Neat. Elite and Champion monsters have 5 new possible affixes. Frozen Pulse. Shard of Ice follows targets around before freezing in place and pulsing cold damage. Neat. Orbiter. Electrical energy appears surrounded by additional balls of lightning that orbit in a large area. Also neat. Poison Enchanted. Summons globules of poison matter that spread in a cross pattern, dealing damage to those caught in their wake. Oh man, that's going to be a pain. Thunderstorm. Powerful bolt of lightning strikes the ground, emanating a small wave of electrical energy. Cool. A pair of portals appears, dealing damage as it tears unfortunate targets from their location and transports them elsewhere. Weird. And then density has been returned around the new difficulty system. Elite and Champion packs now spawn in a larger variation of pack sizes. Wasp projectiles can now be dodged and blocked. Oh, thank you. Freaking wasps, man. That's awesome. That's a nice... That changes things up and makes it a little bit more fun to fight those guys. Paragon? This is the other cool one I'm looking forward to checking out. So, the Paragon leveling system has been completely revamped, friends. There's no longer a cap on the number of Paragon levels a player can gain. Sweet. Paragon levels are now, not that I would ever get that far, but whatever. Paragon levels now account wide and shared across all characters. A double sweet. It means you can just kind of, whatever character you feel like playing, you're going to get the bonuses from all of them. Players, which is very cool. And they're tracked independently between hardcore and normal modes, which is good. It means like if you have, a bunch of normal characters maxing out Paragon, your hardcore characters aren't going to get a major boost from that, and vice versa. Let's see, no longer gain static bonuses upon achieving Paragon levels, and the bonuses currently earned have been removed, but you may now earn Paragon points each level to spend in one of 4 separate categories: your core, offense, defense, and utility. And then all of us that have existing Paragon levels, those have been stripped out, and it's been automatically readjusted to the new system so we can play around with it and use that. The leveling curve has been updated, so I think it's going to be harder and harder to get, each level will be exponentially harder to obtain, which is why they're comfortable making it infinite. It means there's no cap on it for everybody that wants to just grind it out, but it's still going to take a while to grind it out. And then, total recalculate. Okay. So you can allocate, and this is the cool thing, so you can allocate Paragon points by clicking the Paragon button in the character Paper Doll and Inventory screen, or pressing the default hotkey of C. So we'll definitely be checking that out soon. We have some social features, clans and communities. Clans, anyone may create a clan, and doing so gives access to the clan window, which has a default hotkey of N. Joining or creating a clan displays your clan tag next to your name, just like in StarCraft and other games. Clan members can view the members' roster, a private chat channel, news and info tab for clan affairs and information about the clan window. Blah, blah, blah. Support up to 120 members, requires an invitation to join, may only be a member of one clan at a time. Given how they've changed some of the itemization stuff, especially when it comes to legendaries, and with the way they've been changing multiplayer, this might be kind of cool because if you're a member of a clan or something, you have a number of players you know are going to be online that are cool to play with, that are not going to grief you or do stupid crap. So if you jump into games with them, this could be a good way of getting multiple people into games to promote character synergy and to boost your magic find. And also, if everybody's running around getting drops, you're more likely to find those cool legendary items. And since they're bound on account, but they can be traded within the first 2 hours if you're in the same game. This promotes that. This is another way to kind of try and go and get better chances of getting those good legendary item drops, because if you're in a game with 4 people, you should have a higher magic find than you would solo. And if you're all running around and somebody finds one, as long as you're all in the same game together, within 2 hours of finding the drop, boom, you can trade it and be good to go. So that's pretty legit. And then there are communities, which anybody can create, and you can view their community details in the social tab. It just has members rosters. You may join the number of communities you want. They do not have a membership limit, but if you're over 100, only officers and above are displayed in the roster, and they can be designated as public or private. Private communities require an invitation to join, and they're organized by categories, including but not limited to classes, regional, game type. I don't personally foresee myself using this at all. Maybe for shits and giggles once with some of my friends, but I suppose anybody that's really into it and wants to be able to find other players for multiplayer games, trading, and things of that nature, this is going to be a great way to go. Because remember, you can still trade blues and rares. So it's just legendary and set items that are buying on an account. But that means if you've got really good rares or other stuff you want to try and unload and trade around, this is going to be the way to go with these communities and clans. Finally, user interface. Difficulty and game creation menus have been completely redone. This is true. In-game menus have been revised. Waypoint list has been replaced with waypoint map. That's pretty cool, actually. That'll be a nice visual change. Skill tooltips show damage type if advanced tooltips are enabled, which they should be. Several new social options have been added to support clans and communities. There are new chat colors associated with clans and communities. An option to enable icons for dropped items instead of text. So if you just want to see a visual picture as opposed to text on the ground, which is pretty cool. An option to automatically skip all cutscenes, which I just enacted before I started recording, because the cutscenes are really cool in this game. I might have to turn it off when the actual I will. When the expansion finally drops in a few weeks, I will be turning that off so I can go through the expansion cutscenes. But honestly, after you've seen them once or twice, you really just are kind of skipping through them anyway. So just having that be done automatically, I know my girlfriend is going to be ecstatic about that because she hates cutscenes. And then item labels for gold piles are no longer displayed, but you'll still see how much you got when you walk over it. This was to reduce visual clutter. So there we go. Huge list of changes. Like I said, I'll put the patch notes in the YouTube video, but right now, let's go ahead and jump into the game. So, we're going to take a look at a couple things here and run around with my monk, Bro Fist. Let's take a look at the game settings. So, this menu, as you can see, is totally different. Adventure mode will require Reaper of Souls, but it enables a bunch of new gameplay. Damn, man, that cutscene looks dope. Machines of War, so this is your options. You can change quests, etc., etc. You can change difficulty, whether you're in multiplayer, public, or private. This is the difficulty menu now. Normal, hard, expert, master, and torment. So, I'm in Torment 1. I don't know, we'll see. I don't know if I'm buff enough to do this, but you get a 300% extra gold bonus, 300% extra XP bonus. Bounties award double blood shards. Bounties are something in adventure mode that you won't have until the expansion comes when you buy it. Imperial gems can drop from level 61 or in higher monsters. I don't even know what Imperial gems are, but that sounds awesome. New legendary items become available at level 70. And there's an additional gold XP and legendary drop rate per slider tick. So the higher you go on this, as you can see, there's a massive change as you move up, but it gets commensurately harder. Master difficulty is, probably the one that I'd be more comfortable on, but we're going to try Torment and see how we do. And it's a 200% gold and XP bonus, and you get double blood shards and Imperial gems and stuff. But yeah, Torment 1 is what we're sticking on right now. We are going ahead with some campaign mode. I'm in Act 3, Machines of War, looking to find the Arrakis Crossing, and into the game we go. So, let's take a gander at the new systems. Wow, I've got new skills. I've got all kinds of stuff. My Enchantress. This dude. Alright, first and foremost, skill. Wow. Oh, nice. So you get a fourth passive at level 70. They've changed, so all these new skills are skills that have been changed. And they have changed a lot of them, friends. I will have to go through a lot of this. I'll go through a lot of this sort of on my own, but I want to take a look. What is this? Mythic Rhythm. Every third hit from a spirit generator increases damage of your next damaging spirit. Spend about... Wow. Interesting. That's pretty cool. Each ally affected by mantras increases your damage. Nice. 30 yards increases damage. Interesting. Alright, so we've got some new passives. We've got new skills. All of these skills, as you can see, I mean, they've changed, like, everything, man. It's crazy. Whoa, I have to change this one completely. Bunch of changes. So, our mantra. I was going with Mantra of Conviction. Interesting. So right now, active, passive. Only one mantra can be active at a time. Oh, I see. So, huh. So even if you don't have it, weird. I'll have to find out exactly how that works. That's crazy. Submission. Enemies affected by Mantra of Conviction take per second as holy. Hello. Man, also slows movement speed. Increases strength that enemies take. Okay, the passive strength. Okay. Enemies affected by Mantra deals 15% less damage. How long am I? For 3 seconds. I gotcha. So, I see. So now, the mantra is just always in effect with its passive ability. Because before, you had like a 3-second buff, and then it would stay into effect for 2 minutes, and you'd have to re-up it. So now it looks like they just got rid of that mechanic, and now whatever one you have selected is just up, doing its passive buff, and then you can increase it for 3 seconds upon use. Huh. Well, we're going to do that. That's awesome. Huh. I see. Very cool. Let's take a look at Paragon. So here are my legendaries, which aren't changed really because, although we can see, you can already see sort of the bone, like the secondary and primary, how it's split up, and now how it's saying like, yeah, your different things for skills and other stuff. Oh, that's cool how it calls that out. I have a lot of legendaries. None of them I found. Let's take a look at the Paragon system, friends. Huh. So at level 7, interesting. I have reset. Okay. 2. So it looks like every X number of levels you just get 1 into each of these different abilities, and it just kind of keeps stacking. So I can give myself 5 plus 5 dex or plus 5 vitality or movement speed or maximum spirit. Huh. I think dexterity, obviously, would be really nice to have. Offense, attack speed, cooldown reduction, critical hit chance, and critical hit damage. Critical hit chance, oh my god, 0.2. That's like nothing. Well, let's try it. Let's stack critical chance. Defense, life, armor, resist all, yes. And unspent points, or so we have utility, area damage, resource cost reduction, life on hit, gold fine. 16 life on hit per point. You have to really do a lot for that to be useful. Resource cost reduction. We'll go area damage. That sounds cute. Alright, so there you go. Looks like there's like, so each, to go through that again, you have core, offense, defense, and utility. Each one has 4 different things you can choose. At any point you can reset it and reallocate it, and all these points are split across all of your characters. And it looks like at every Paragon level it probably goes core, offense, defense, utility, core, offense, defense, utility, and so on every 4 levels to get you those points. Let's take a look at some gameplay. and murderate some dudes real quick, and then we'll wrap up the video. So I'm gonna run around, find Rackus Crossing, try to kill some dudes, and see how totally scary this is. Let's see how they get this Hellbringer. Oh my god, that thing takes a lot of damage, doesn't it? Let's get that buff up. It's not really doing much, friends. Might have wanted to change my one skill. Wow, this is just... These things have a lot of hit points. As you can see, I'm dealing a pretty solid amount. Immune to a certain amount. Okay. Get myself some healing back and some extra damage off of that. Do additional damage. That buff lasts is way shorter than it was. I can already see. We'll finish this off and... there's a... my god, everything's... Look how many hit points this thing has. Alright. I have one type of health potion now. Oh no.
They've been circling for hours.
They've been circling for hours. Oh dear. Wow. Holy Christ. These things are brutal. Look at this. Oh my god. Look how much damage these guys are doing. This is nuts. I don't think this character can stand up on Torment. I've already found... Wow. They changed the fonts, too. That's a little easier to read. That's nice. But you can see, on regular dudes, I've already found a rare. Oh my god. This is going to be bad. Oh dear. Oh boy. Oh my god, friends. That is too much damage coming out right now. Oh dear. Oh boy. Oh dear. That's not good. Oh god. Huh. Jesus. Look at this stuff. Oh my god, yep. Oh, wow. Wow. I thought my guy was pretty good. Apparently Torment is out to prove me wrong. Torment is out to prove me wrong, everybody. Blinded. Give me some crits. Oh dear. Kill the beasts. Oh boy. Huh. I'm gonna finish this guy off. Give myself some heals. Blind these guys. They stop attacking briefly. Make sure that's stacking. God, these guys deal a lot of friggin' damage. Gotta self-immune. Get some heals back. Enchantress friggin' died like real fast there. Okay. Yes, I know I've picked up a magic item. I have played this game before. They really have changed the overall UI. Like, these icons look different. We've got different messages. Homeland skill. Wow. Well, that's terrifying. How much damage they deal there. Here's the new waypoint system. That looks really cool. That looks really cool. Well, let's go back to Bastion's Keep, back home, and take a look at my items with the old Book of Cain and see if we found anything. Don't have any unidentified items. They just automatically identify rares now? Well, wow. So we can already see, even though wow. Huh. That's already way better than what I've been finding. Rare fist weapon, 14% damage reduction or 7% damage loss, but gives me a bunch of life after kill, experience, reduces resource cost by 7%. Jesus, and a huge amount of my toughness. Wow. Well, friends, I think Brofist has a new weapon. And reduces toughness but gives me extra healing. 46% damage. I might actually swap this out because that fear on hit has been more of a pain than anything else. Look at that. Massive, big damage buff. This is just, like I said, I've just jumped into the game and already finding all this stuff. But it's a massive loss to my healing. How does that even work? So, let's see. Healing is the amount of life you can recover every second in combat. Ah. And then toughness is the total amount of raw damage you can take, which is based on life, armor, dodge, average resistances, and missile, melee, and elite damage reduction. Huh. And then this amount of damage per second you can deal. Well, so if I do this, my healing drops tremendously. My damage goes up. I definitely think we're going to keep this guy around. But look at that. Like, even like right away, we're already finding some pretty cool stuff. That's neat, guys. Well, all right. I think that's a good example of sort of what the game has to offer. I mean, right away, not even a couple minutes into the game on Torment 1, we're dropping items that are better than the stuff I found in literally a year of playing that I wasn't on the auction house. The Paragon system looks awesome. The changes to skills are immense and all-encompassing, and I am really excited. My pre-order is already locked in. I'm planning to drop Reaper of Souls and fight through Act 5 as soon as that comes up. I hope everybody enjoyed the video, and if you want to follow me on Twitch, you can at twitch.tv/Captain Jandor. I'll probably be streaming this when it goes live with Reaper of Souls in a few weeks. And as always, check out my other YouTube videos. Leave me comments. You can follow me on Twitter at Captain Jandor, and I will catch everybody next time.